Meeting to order. 7 o'clock according to this clock here. Welcome everyone. And so I'd like to start off by asking for a motion to approve the agenda. Member of council willing to do that? We've all signed in, I believe, yes. Okay, just bear with me, people. I'm new to the computer. Councillor Hendricks.
So moved, Your Worship.
Thank you. Now I have to go back to the voting. There we go. Okay. And sign in. It's coming. It's coming. Start the vote. Okay. All in favor. I'm assuming there was no conversation on that. I jumped the gun a little bit there. All right. That's unanimous. Thank you. All right. Then on our first item on our agenda then tonight is the consent agenda. And I do have the items that are part of that consent agenda, and I'll read them off. I move that council consent to approve the following agenda items without debate. Item 5A, the regular council meeting, January 22nd, 2019. Item 10A, Councillor Stout's report. And item 10B, Councillor Van Newkirk's report. Could I ask for a motion to accept the consent agenda? There you go. I have to look and see which one is mine. Councillor Stout. Yeah, I see I have to go back and forth to the... yeah, there you go. Okay, I know where it is. I just don't go in the right order. Councillor Stout.
So moved, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none? Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. I think after a few of these I'll be all right, but the first couple are a little tough. The next item on the agenda is the open forum, and we do not have any requests to speak to council, and that hasn't changed since last time I looked and was informed. So moving on then to the next item, which is the first public hearing that we have scheduled tonight. And there are two scheduled tonight. I will read through the process, and then we'll hear from the different parties involved. So this is item 6A. I declare the public hearing open at 7:03 p.m. The hearing is held pursuant to sections 230, 606, and 692 of the Municipal Government Act as amended. I will ask the Supervisor of Legislative Services to confirm the purpose of this hearing. Ms. Winter?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. The purpose of Bylaw 934-19 for Dance Row Meadows Phase 10 is to amend the Land Use Bylaw 796-12 of the City of Beaumont. In particular, Schedule A Land Use District maps by redistricting a portion of the Northwest Quarter 34-50-24-W4M to two new direct control districts, DC-120 Dance Row Meadows Small Lot District and DC-121 Dance Row Meadows Medium Density District. Notice of the public hearing in writing to the assessed landowner, applicant, and adjacent property owners. The public hearing notice was advertised in the local newspaper on February 1st and February 8th, 2019. The public hearing notice was published on Beaumont's website on February 1st, 2019. Any written submissions received and not included in the public hearing would be read into the agenda package. Currently, there is nothing to read into the package at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Winter. I now would like to remind folks that the people giving oral presentations ought to clearly state their name, and that presentations ought to be brief and to the point. The presentation order will be, first off, the Director of Planning and Development or designate. The applicant would be next. Those in favor of the bylaw would be after that. Those opposed, and any person deemed to be affected who wishes to be heard, we would hear from as well. And so I would like to now ask Mr. Wong if he would like to speak first as the representative of the Director of Planning and Development.
Thank you. Good evening, Your Worship and members of Council. The Department received an application to redistrict a portion of the Northwest Quarter section of Section 34, Township 50, Range 24, and west of the 4th Meridian in the Dancero Meadows neighborhood from AG, Agricultural Reserve District, to Direct Control District 120, Dancero Meadows Small Lot District, and Direct Control District 121, Dancero Meadows Medium Density District. The subject area is currently undeveloped and is located north of 60th Avenue and east of Range Road 243 as in the attachment number 1 in the package. The application is to allow for a greater variety of housing than would be permitted within the current land use bylaw districts. The purpose of Direct Control 120 Dancero Meadows Small Lot District is to provide for smaller dwellings in a low-density suburban setting with a smaller side yard and shallower lot depth. DC 120 includes a minimum 35 meters lot depth, which is the same requirement in a conventional land use district, but propose a minimum 32 meters lot depth for an irregular shaped lot, which is 1.5 meters shallower than the lot depth in a conventional land use district. A reduced minimum side yard setback of 1.2 meters is also proposed, which is 0.3 meters narrower than the 1.5 meters in the current land use bylaw. The purpose of DC 121 Dancero Meadows medium density residential is to provide for multi-attached dwelling units in a medium density suburban setting with a smaller side yard. DC 121 proposes a 1.2 meter side yard as well. The new land use bylaw will not be adopted until later in 2019, and a direct control district is to ensure that there is zoning approval in place to enable developments to occur while administration completes the new land use bylaw. It is the intention that these DCs will be captured in the new conventional land use district under the new land use bylaw. The proposed direct control districts are consistent with the objective and policies of higher order plans, including the municipal development plans and the Dancero Meadows outline plan. The proposed district provides for housing types that reflects the trends in the region and accommodate a range of incomes and demographics. The application was previously circulated to affected external boards and agencies, affected internal civic departments, as well as adjacent landowners for comments. No outstanding concerns regarding this application was received. A public hearing notice was mailed to adjacent landowners and the assessed landowners to notify them of the public hearing. The public hearing notice was also published in the Beaumont newspaper as well as posted on the Beaumont website. The administration recommends support the approval of the bylaw 934-19. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Do any members of council have any questions for the administration at this time? Not seeing any. Then I would ask if the applicant or designate wishes to speak. Please come forward.
Good evening. I'm Elise Shillington with Stantec, and this is.
Scott Cole with Stantec Consulting.
And with us, we also have Dylan and Kevin from Anthem United to answer questions as well. We haven't prepared a formal presentation this evening, but we're happy to answer any questions you may have about any of the redistricting in front of you.
Thank you very much. That's a short presentation. To the point. Are there any questions from any members of council for the applicant? They're quiet tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Oh, did you have one? Councillor Stout.
Thank you. Thank you, Worship. I'm sorry.
Almost got away.
Just to clarify, could you repeat your name for me? I'm
Elise
sorry.
Shillington, yeah.
Elise
Shillington.
Shillington. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was all. I just didn't catch it.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Are there any members in the audience that are wishing to speak in favor of the bylaw? Are there any members of the audience wishing to speak opposed to the bylaw? Okay. Anyone that's deemed to be affected by the bylaw, please come forward. Okay. Then if no one is wishing to speak at this point, there could be some concluding comments, if need be, from the administration. Would you like to, Mr. Wong?
Yes, the public hearing was held for this bylaw, And as mentioned, the administration supports the approval of the bylaw, and if there is any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, don't see any from from council, and so I will declare the public hearing is closed. And at this point, we are going to go right to the request for direction, if I'm not mistaken, as part of this item as well. This has been a change to our procedures, so we're now moving right directly to the, it's still part of 6A. The request for decision, I believe, is for the second and third reading of the bylaw, which is up on the screen right now. So, Mr. Wong, could you just present this to us as well?
As presented, I probably have nothing more to add. This is an application to rezone the parcel from AR Agricultural Reserve District to 2 Direct Control District, Direct Control 120, the Small Lot District, and also 121 for the Medium Density District. So,
Thank you. So there are still no questions, I believe, from council at this point. And so I'm looking for a motion from council. Oh, there we go. They come up quickly.
Thank you, Your Worship. A question to administration then. I appreciate the new process. Take you back to the very first annexation and the very first annexation agreement. And I'm just asking the question whether or not administration has reviewed that with this bylaw in mind.
I can quite get the question.
Okay. Beaumont has been through 2 annexation and 2 annexation agreements. This, as my memory serves me well, takes us to the first annexation agreement. And if my memory serves me right, once land is changed over from ag to what you're currently proposing or any other designation from ag, there was a trigger that tied it to the annexation agreement. Monies and other things that would then play out. So my question is whether or not we're following the very first annexation agreement that was tied to these properties.
But this land is within the probably a long time ago, back in the first annexation back then, right? So, but the dense road, this is not the first rezoning applications that went through the council for approval, and I don't believe we are contravening the agreement at this point of time.
I'm not suggesting you are.
Yeah.
What I'm suggesting is there was an annexation agreement, and I'm asking.
not aware of that.
Thank you, and that's my
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
And I'm going to ask whether or not we should, in fact, be aware of the terms and conditions of that annexation agreement that ties to these lands.
I'm not aware of that.
I think we should be aware of that before we take the next step here.
Councillor Hendricks, can I just follow up on that? Because I'm thinking we've gone, this is phase 10.
Mm-hmm.
There's been numerous phases in the same area. So would that not have been considered prior to any of these? Why would we bring that up at this point is why I'm
Okay, well,
asking.
my memory of the way this thing was scheduled was as lands were deemed from ag to other zonings, that was the trigger in the agreement with respect to levies and other issues.
Okay.
So
And
as you move the land from an ag zoning to what we're currently seeing here this evening,
this
my
one
memory
is
of
not
it
for
was
the
that it would-
zoning, is it? Or this one
It
is
would-
the ag,
It
yeah.
is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Councillor Hendricks, I understand your point. So are you suggesting that the administration
I believe
needs
we
to
should.
take this back?
I believe we need to make sure that the work that was done at that time that was tied to these lands for that first annexation agreement, just because it's got time attached to it, should nullify the agreement unless something's changed over time that I'm not aware of. Because the deal was made. My concern is we've now had a second annexation agreement and process. So is there a best before date on that also? Because those lands should take us out 50 plus years.
I'm going to ask the administration for help here. Ms. Raymond?
Thank you, Your Worship, and through to members of council and Councillor Hendricks. With that and the previous annexation agreement, the one from 1998, actually resulted in the creation of our intermunicipal development plan with Leduc County, which we are following to this day. Those were the agreements that were made at that time. You mentioned levies. As levies happen, as development proceeds and subdivision occurs, that's when levies are triggered. So as this area continues to develop, it is subject to Beaumont's rules and regulations and our bylaws. One of those being off-site levies, and those will be determined at the subdivision stage. The conformance with any agreements in place at that time would have been considered when the outline plan was first adopted, and this is in continuance with that outline plan.
Thank you, Ms. Raymond. Councillor Hendricks?
Your Worship, there's two issues here, and I understand the IDP. IDP can change every year, depending on how councils view it and see it. I get that. But the annexation agreement was signed by the landowners at the time. And it had all kinds of triggers, had all kinds of money issues, had all kinds of other things, salient details that tied to those lands. That has nothing to do with the IDP. So I'm just suggesting that we should, and as I'm hearing from the admin, they haven't seen it or read it or understood it to date for whatever reason, and certainly it could be archived, it might be lost, but I think we need to at least resurrect those documents and make sure that we're not shortcoming ourselves with respect to the way that deal was originally dealt with.
Yeah, I'm not too, I'm not familiar with the agreement, but I do know the fact that because the land has been transacted, is owned by the United Land Funds Corporation now, and I would assume everything that is done through the land transaction would be complying with the annexation agreement with the previous landowner, whoever that was. So I would assume that was basically dealt with the land transaction at that point of time. And this land is basically, it is within, like Ms. Raymond was saying, this land is in the jurisdiction of Beaumont, and it is under the Beaumont's land use bylaw, and this process is to rezone the land within the jurisdiction of the Beaumont, and council will have the jurisdiction to make a decision on that.
Correct. Councillor Monkoff-Swain?
Do you have something direct to that?
Yes, I was just going to offer that. The change in ownership would allow this deal to survive, no matter who the next. You could change ownership 20 times. The deal would survive, based on, because otherwise, I wouldn't want to hear that we've had a deal that just because it's been sold to somebody else, that the previous deal that the council of the day and the administration of the day put together is no longer valid. Mm-hmm. That can't be. So.
Thank you for that clarification. Councillor Hendricks, you had made the motion for the second reading, did you not? Oh, you did not. You were the first one that spoke to it. So we don't have a motion at this point?
So I'll make that motion. And I'll speak to it if that's okay.
Okay. I need you to press the button so I can get your mic
Again?
on. Okay. Is it on? It's on.
So I'll make the motion to move second reading and speak to it if that's okay. So hear what you're saying. What I'm hearing from administration, though, is that this redistricting conforms to all the current agreements and plans. No one's come forward at the public hearing. I haven't heard any concerns or complaints about it. I think, granted the history there, but I think I'm happy to vote for this and move it forward. I get the history piece, but I don't think that should stop us from moving forward here. Again, administration says that it conforms to all current agreements and plans, and that's all I can do is rely on administration to provide that. And I trust that, so I'm happy to vote for this and move forward today. So those would be my opening comments.
Thank you. Councillor Hendricks, your light looks like it's still on, but I don't have you here.
I want to make sure that we understand what I'm trying to say here. There's two different issues here. I've got no issue with this moving forward, but there is going to be a development agreement signed at some point. And I just want to make sure that the work that was done with the first annexation agreement, that was tied to these lands and other lands that were in the first annexation agreement, which were significant in its value, money, effort, that is being followed. And I would hope, and I'd asked, in fact, I've asked for almost a year now, if we could please get a copy of that annexation agreement so that we can all just review it ourselves and read it and understand what was in it. So as we develop lands that are, like you say, back from the day when that annexation agreement was held in place, that those deals are still salient and proper and moving forward, not forgotten and off the table and taken in a way that I think is perhaps in need of review. So
Thank you.
I'll be polite
Thank
and
you,
ask
Councillor.
if we could just please get a copy
Yeah.
of the first
Message
annexation
received.
Message.
Message received. Okay. Thank you, Councillor Hendricks. So if there are no further questions or comments from council, I will start the voting process in favor of second reading. If you are in favor, please vote now. I do need to vote. Okay. That's unanimous. All right. Then is there a motion from council for third reading? Councillor Danluck.
So moved. Madam Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from members of council? Start the vote then on third reading. Too many buttons to press here. That's passed unanimously. Thank you. All right. We have one more public hearing to go. 6B. Mr. Wong, it's yours again, and I will read the procedures as is required of me. All right, so the public hearing for bylaw 935-19 Dancehall Meadows redistricting phases 11. I declare the public hearing open and state that it's held in pursuant to sections 230, 606, and 692 of the Municipal Government Act as amended. And I'll ask Ms. Winter if she would as well confirm the purpose of this hearing. You do need to have the button. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. The purpose of bylaw 935-19 Dancehall Meadows Phase 11 is to amend the land use bylaw 796-12 of the City of Beaumont, in particular Schedule A, land use district maps, by redistricting portion of the northwest quarter 34-50-24-W4M from AR Agricultural Reserve District to Direct Control District 118, Dancehall Meadows Zero Lot Line District. Notice of the public hearing was in writing to assessed landowner, applicant, and adjacent property owners. The public hearing notice was advertised in the local newspaper on February 1st and February 8th, 2019. The public hearing notice was advertised on the Beaumont's website January 24th, 2019. Any written submissions received and not included in the public hearing package are read into the record, and there's currently nothing to read into the record at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Winter. Then I also will go through again the process, and the process is that oral presentations can be made by clearly stating your name if you come to the table, and keep it brief and to the point, please. The order will be the same as in the previous public hearing, that the Director of Planning and Development or designate, Mr. Wong, will go first. The applicant or their designate is able to speak next. Those in favor following that, those opposed to the bylaw, and any person deemed to be affected who wishes to be heard. So, Mr. Wong, would you like to make a presentation on this one?
Thank you. The department also received an application to redistrict a portion of the northwest quarter section 34, Township 50, Range 24, and west of the 4th Meridian in the Dancehall Meadows neighborhoods. The subject area is currently undeveloped and is located south of Township Road 510 and Range Road 243. In order for developments of the subject lands to proceed, the land use bylaw requires an amendment from AG Agricultural Reserve District to Direct Control District 118, Dancehall Meadows Zero Lot Line District. DC 118, Dancehall Meadows Zero Lot Line District was approved on June 12, 2018, which enables single detached housing with front detached or rear detached garages with reduced site width by allowing one side setback to be reduced to 0. This application is to apply this DC 118 Dancehall Meadows Zero Lot Line District on land shown on Attachment 2 as in the package. As a result, only Schedule 8.1 of Section 8.38 of the Land Use Bylaw is amended to include this area into DC 118 Dancehall Meadows Zero Lot Line District. The new Land Use Bylaw will not be adopted until later in 2019, and a Direct Control District is to ensure that there is zoning approval in place to enable developments to occur while administration completes the land use bylaw. It is the intention that this DC will be captured in the new conventional land use district in the new land use bylaw. The proposed land use are consistent with objective and policies of higher order plans, including the Municipal Development Plan and the Dancehall Meadows Outline Plan. The application was previously circulated to affected external boards and agencies, affected internal civic departments, as well as adjacent landowners. A notice of public hearings was mailed to adjacent landowners and the assessed owners to notify them of the public hearing. The public hearing notice was also published in the Beaumont newspaper, as well as posted on the Beaumont website. The administration supports this application.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wong. The applicant, would anyone from the applicant wish to speak?
Same as before, we haven't prepared a formal presentation as this complies to what was approved in June, but we're happy to answer any questions in regards to the redistricting.
So, are there any members of council wishing to ask any questions of the applicant? No? Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the bylaw? Does anyone wish to speak opposed to the bylaw? Are there any interested persons, affected persons that wish to speak? Hearing none, I'll ask the administration to come back again. Is there any concluding comments you'd like to make, Mr. Wong?
Well, based on the analysis of the application, the administration recommends support to the approval of bylaw.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of council? Could I ask for a motion to approve second reading? Councillor Stout.
So moved, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Hearing none, ask you to vote, please. Okay, that passes unanimously. All right. Back to that. And so now I'm looking for a motion for third reading. A member of council prepared to make that motion. Councillor Van Newkirk.
So moved.
Thank you. Any further comments from council? Questions? No? All right. Please vote. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Wong.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is for registered presentations, and I'd like to call up the members of the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce to do their presentation. Welcome, and please let us know your name and sign in. And looking for help? Okay. All good. Curtis. Ready to go? Yep.
Perfect. Bonsoir, Votre Honneur, Monsieur, Madame the Conseil de Ville. Good evening, Your Worship, and members of City Council. My name is Curtis Haley, and I'm the proud president of the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce. I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you tonight to be able to formally introduce you to the Chamber of Commerce. This evening, we will go through a presentation where we will talk about what are the Chamber of Commerce in general, and then afterwards we will talk about a little bit more about our mission and also some of the goals that we set for ourselves. So I will begin by highlighting the fact that the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce is part of the Alberta Chamber of Commerce, which is a nonprofit organization and serves about 25,000 Albertans across Alberta businesses across the province. So the Chamber of Commerce collectively works forward for the betterment of businesses and working as an advocate at the three levels of government. We ensure that the interests of the business community are taken into consideration at the municipal, provincial, and national decision-making standpoint. We also have the opportunity to celebrate success of local businesses. This year, for example, we celebrated 25 years of Beaumont Physio operating here in Beaumont. Also, we also provide opportunities for professional growth by hosting various events. Our most recent one was in respect to financial planning that was delivered on February 5th. One of our goals, of course, is to attract new businesses and investments to Beaumont. So how do we operate? So as you can see, we do operate through volunteers with various boards, and also we do have team members that are paid staff. We do our paid staff are primarily responsible for membership management, our marketing website, and also for bookkeeping. Our funding primarily comes from membership fees, partnerships, sponsorships, and our events that we facilitate. As an advocacy group, we rarely request funding from the government, from the levels of government. However, we do accept sponsorships, or we do intern service contracts with the municipalities and various levels of government. On the screen, now you can see some of the benefits of being a member of the Chamber of Commerce. It goes from building some visibility, credibility. The one that I really appreciate here is having a voice. It allows the small business owner to have a voice within the community and also to have a voice within the different levels of government. So let me introduce you a little bit more to the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce itself. Okay, we were formally formed on January 1st, 2014, and we currently serve 125 Beaumont businesses, representing 850 employees. We host approximately 15 information sessions, different events per year. Our upcoming gala on February 23rd, where we have the opportunity to recognize our top members in 2018. Here's a picture from last year's event. And we are expecting a very strong turnout at our event this year. We already have 90 tickets that have been sold. And that's provided, that includes some of our major sponsors as well. Hopefully your workshop, and councillors will have an opportunity to join us on February 23rd. One of our main mandates is also to partner with different organizations that are like-minded and have same missions as we do. These various organizations on the screen also work towards promoting entrepreneurship in Beaumont and to elevate our economy. So back in July, we did have a retreat where the entire board got together in order to set some targets towards 2020. One of our main goals is to build a growth and sustainable independent chamber of commerce. If you put numbers behind those goals, we are looking to increase our team members from 0.4 FTE to 1 full-time FTE. We are also looking to increase our board membership from 8 directors up to 12. We want to create an office space with a storefront, increase the number of members from 125 to 175, add a second large event in Beaumont. So currently we do have our gala, which is on February 23rd, in case I forgot to mention it. So we are certainly looking to create another large event to be able to showcase the Chamber of Commerce and help our entrepreneurs here in Beaumont. Last but not least, we certainly want to increase collaboration with all local business groups as well. The good news is that there's some of these goals that we are working closely with the city of Beaumont and Rob Mackin and his group. Rob has been fantastic in supporting us and certainly very collaborative when it comes to the work share space, the project that he's working on. So still, towards the future of the Chamber of Commerce, we wish to strengthen business growth here in Beaumont. And really, one of the things that we want to do is to working towards being the go-to organization that businesses can rely on in order to promote entrepreneurship and business here in Beaumont. We want to be the organization that brings the other like-minded organizations together in order to collaborate together in win-win partnerships. With your support, we will be able to increase the economic success here in Beaumont, work towards improved opportunities, effectively market benefits of doing business here in Beaumont. Those are our main three goals of working with the City of Beaumont going forward. The Beaumont Chamber of Commerce believes that a vibrant business community is the foundation of a strong place in which to work, live, and play. With that being said, I will leave you with one single question. How can we work together in order to encourage our Beaumontonians to live, work, and especially buy local? Your Worship, I would turn it over to you for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Is it Haley?
It's Haley, yes.
Haley.
Haley.
Haley. Good.
Or in French, Haley.
Haley. Okay, you had a French accent, and I was like, oh. Thank you very much. And you did sign in our sheet.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'm going to see if any member of council wish to start off with any questions. Quiet night until they get going. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Councillor Monkoff-Swain.
Thank you. How do I address you, sorry?
Well, you could say Kathy usually, but today you have to say Councillor Barnhart or Deputy Mayor.
Deputy Mayor, Your Worship. Yeah, thank you.
Your Deputy, Your Worshipness. Yeah.
Sorry. Now you can make your own title.
Right away.
Thank you for the presentation. I've certainly been really interested in following along. As you know, economic development is a strong mandate of this council and came up all through the election. Thank you for putting that photo up there of the election, of the campaign and the forum that we all enjoyed. That was a blast from the past.
Yep.
The key thing for me here is around your chamber partnership slides. And I've always wondered a bit more about that. And I was really pleased to see that you had EWE up there, the BNI, and these other business advocacy groups around the city here. I'm wondering if you could speak a bit more to how you think the chamber plays a role in working with those different organizations.
Your Worship, that's an excellent question, and thank you so much. As I mentioned, I really believe that the Chamber of Commerce has the opportunity and actually the responsibility to be a mentor, the advocate, the organization that brings the other organizations together in order to be able to create these win-win partnerships. We know that AWE already does a great job in Beaumont, and how can we work together to be able to elevate our respective activities in order to be able to jointly drive the economy here in Beaumont?
Just a follow-up, yeah, if you don't mind. I guess a question that I'd have from you is, what are some of the key challenges you're hearing from businesses around the community about working in and around town?
Yeah, again, great question, Worship. Mm-hmm. Some of the biggest challenges that we're hearing is can of worms here maybe a little bit, but we're hearing a lot that Beaumont remains a bedroom community where there's a lot of Beaumontonians who leave the city throughout the day, thus therefore giving them the opportunity to shop outside of our borders, right? I think that is the biggest standpoint that we're hearing, the biggest struggle that we're hearing from our members is when will there be more industry here in Beaumont that will have high-paying jobs where people will, again, live, work, and buy here in Beaumont.
Okay, I would agree, and I'll punt that over to Mr. Mackin at the back there to figure that out. But certainly I appreciate that the efforts there. I think the advocacy role that you play, I'd like to see us be a bit more vocal provincially wide as well, working with the chamber. And so, maybe in future updates coming in to share how we go into those things and how we're learning from those chamber events that they do put on. So thank you for the presentation. Really appreciate the information tonight. You're welcome.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Danlock?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Is that
That's good.
pretty close?
That works. That's
Your Worshipness?
good.
Appreciate your presentation. Thank you. And a quick comment, too. Everybody I've talked to in Beaumont is that if they can spend money here, they will. But they sometimes can't spend money here, so they spend it elsewhere. So it's a catch-22, and I understand that completely. And I'm glad you're getting support from Rob and the city as well. But one question I have is, I know coming to town, the large display boards that have business logos on them, that's run by the chamber. Can you explain that to the council who don't know about that program, how that program actually works?
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you, Worship. It's so the program in a nutshell, that the Chamber of Commerce has the responsibility of promoting the signs and also selling them. The chamber works with the city in order to perform the maintenance and switch in and switch out the signs as they become obsolete or as we're adding new ones. So there is a partnership there with the city. The Chamber of Commerce does collect the fees that are related to the signs, and then it becomes part of our operating budget.
Follow-up question, please?
Certainly.
Thank you very much. Also, Beaumont Transit, as you know, I think at one time in the past, I believe the Chamber of Commerce was involved with the city now in transit advertising on our bus system. I think that's kind of fallen by the wayside somewhat. I'm not being critical of the situation. I want to get an update. Is there any plans to resurrect the chamber being involved with our transit advertising at this point, or is that being discussed at a later time, which is fine if it is? It's just, I noticed there was some advertising, it's sort of a lost momentum, if I may.
Yeah, no, great question. Thank you. It is a topic that will be re-energized, if I can put it that way. There has been discussion within our board for over the last few weeks, maybe month, about finding ways. It has been difficult in order to get the right supplier to provide us with the signs, the signs that is good enough quality that they will sustain and remain in place. That was one of the hurdles that we've been facing over the last since the bus system, the transit system has been put in place. We believe that we've found that proper supplier, and we're expanding. We are looking to be able to re-energize the whole topic in the upcoming month. We do have our gala on February 23rd that I want to that we're going to get through over the next week or so, and then afterwards it's certainly a topic of discussion.
Thank you. One last question, if I may.
Okay, one
Just a
last
quick one. I think I will be there. My bride also on the 23rd, so we'll see. I'll be at your table probably. That'll be great. One last question. I know, as my colleague mentioned moments ago, economic development is a big part of our council's mandate. What do you need from the town, city, that you're not getting at the present time? What else can we do? I know Rob is doing great work. I know very well what he's up to, as our council does. But what else could we be doing to support the chamber to allow you to do the great work that you do?
I'll be. It's a good question, and Your Worship, here's Rob's presence at our board meetings is extremely appreciated. But in all transparency, I've sat on different boards and I've chaired other chamber in different markets in different areas of our country. It is the first time that I see the EDO sitting representing the municipality on that board. If you're asking the straight answer of what can we do differently in order to promote our partnership, is having a councillor sit or be represented at our board meetings.
Well, that's it. Thank you. Councillor Van Newkirk.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the presentation. Lots of good questions and comments so far. I just wanted to make a couple observations. First of all, thanks for bringing the presentation to council. I'm a big advocate of sitting down and explaining what different organizations do, how they interact in the community, and I really like the piece around some of the goals. A couple of things I've noticed as of late is some more celebration of new members. I think you've probably dialed up and put some focus on that, and I've noticed that, and I think that's really good. And that's been alongside kind of seems to be an increased focus on social media presence as well, and I think that's great. So just a couple of good observations that I've made. The one question I have, I'll leave you a little bit of a doozy. What's the number one benefit that a current member would say they receive from the Chamber?
The primary benefit, I would say that it's the access to the resources that are available as a member of the Chamber of Commerce in order to, it's the educational piece, I would dare say, where being part of the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce gives you access to the Alberta Chamber of Commerce, which gives you also access to the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. And between the three organizations, we have multiple resources that suddenly becomes available for that entrepreneur in order to help him drive and plan his business in order to be successful. There's an, if I may, there's a second one that I would certainly like to highlight as well, is that it also gives our members have access to a group benefit plan, which enables small business owners to have some stability in their cost for group benefits.
Thank you very much. Was there a follow-up?
Plug.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Thank you. And I would just add to what my colleagues have asked and said that we appreciate all the work that the Chamber does. And I think there'll be at least 2 of us, I know, at the gala, if not more. I haven't heard how many are going yet. I look forward to it every year. It's a fun time, and it's an opportunity to celebrate our businesses in this community. I'm very interested in the partnerships, and I participated in a number of the circles that were on that board, so I do want to see that we can collaborate and not repeat the same thing, do better and more together. And I think we certainly have that opportunity. One other question, or if I could just put this idea out there, is that the home-based businesses, I think, are needing more support, more recognition and promotion. And that may not be the traditional Chamber of Commerce way that we've gone. I know we would like to see more storefronts as well, but I think until you get to a certain point, that's unaffordable. And we want to make sure we build up the people that are entrepreneurial in spirit, but may not have the capacity yet to be the thriving businesses that we'd like them to be. I don't know if you want to make any comment to that, or just that's my 2 cents that I want to throw in there.
Thank you for the question or comment. And I do have a paying job as well. And that paying job is with a financial institution. I work day in, day out with small business owners who, a lot of them, you are correct in saying that they're at a point where they are home base for the right reasons. I look forward to our goal is to help those small business owners who are primarily home based in order to become and having the opportunity to have a storefront and being able to expand their business and grow their business to the point where they can, it makes sense to pay the overhead that comes with a storefront, right? At the same time, when it comes to the Chamber of Commerce, they do that. That's one of the reasons why I was saying a while ago about the resources that are available. Is the home-based business owner has the same opportunity as the storefront owner, the same access to resources, same access to our events, same access to everything, right? So therefore, to help them grow their business.
Thank you for that, and I appreciate it. It's difficult work, but
Yeah.
I appreciate that you're doing it. So if I see no further comments or questions, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, Worship.
The next item on our agenda will be the presentation by the Beaumont Society of the Arts. Society of the Arts. I was going to say for the arts, but is it for? Okay. 4 is good.
I double checked it.
Thank you. Ms. Yardley for clarifying that.
Before
Welcome.
we're
Please sign in, and we will go right ahead when you are ready.
all right. I should get a stamp. Hi, everyone. I have to say this table is too far up, and but
Back. I happen to agree with you. I feel like I'm very close.
there we go. Yeah, no, I think I can do it. Hi, my name is Chantal Yardley, and I'm here to speak to you on behalf of the Beaumont Society for the Arts. my presentation you received. It has our financial statement as well as our plans for the 2019 year. And I'm just going to speak to a bit of our history. And while I speak to that, you can watch this lovely video on our new website that highlights some of the events, our mission, and things like that. So, yes, I'm Chantel. I'm the president of the Beaumont Society for the Arts, and I'm happy to be here to report on last year's arts programming brought to you, Beaumont, by the BSA with the support of the City of Beaumont. First, I would like to thank you for your ongoing support and encouragement over the last couple of years. 4 years ago, we began as a group of volunteers who were looking to actually just create a space. We thought, where is our theater? We need a theater. And that dumped us down a rabbit hole that we are still trying to claw ourselves out of. But it has sent us on a great mission to help the artists of Beaumont and help support arts in Beaumont. We survived a transitioning council, a transitioning admin department, and I think we're, as volunteers who also have full-time jobs, we're actually finally kind of catching our stride. And I too would like to thank admin, who has been very understanding of the transitioning time, and yourselves. So thank you. Based on a recent Alberta Foundation for the Arts study, Albertans are extremely engaged in the arts. Attendance at arts events and participation in the arts is the norm for Albertans. 85% of Albertans attends at least one arts event per year, and just over half participate directly in an art form in their own home or community. The people of Beaumont are no different than the rest of Alberta. We have thousands of artists, musicians, and patrons of the arts in our community. The one thing we as a BSA tried to be is a voice for these artists and a destination in town for an audience. The Beaumont Society for the Arts is a community-based, not-for-profit organization committed to advancing excellence in the promotion, practice, and appreciation of the arts in all its forms, inclusive of every Beaumontonian who has a desire to participate. Our mission is the ongoing advocacy in support of artists, artistic expression, and appreciation of the arts generally, to build community spirit and enhance the character and reputation of Beaumont and its people. The establishment of a physical facility is our second mission, and to serve as a center and a home for artistic endeavor and expression in our town, city. I'm sorry, it's going to take me a while. So I just am going to do a brief overview of our 2018 events. As you know, there was some growing pains at the beginning of 2018 due to elections and a budget delay. So we did miss an event in February that we sort of followed up with this year, which I'll touch on later. But we did do a little mini Meet the Artist event to celebrate our local stained glass artists who put 4 stained glass windows in the Beaumont Library. We brought Jack and the Beanstalk, 4 shows by the Alberta Opera to 4 schools in Beaumont. And I'd like to read the words of the assistant principal of École Beaumeadow School, who sent us an email just wanting to thank us for our support once again with the Alberta Opera for next year. We are so excited. We booked in January, which can be a tough month with the cold and sometimes a lot of indoor recesses. Kids can get a little restless. So we're super happy to bring them in at this time. Thank you for being so gracious and sponsoring us. The kids, as you know, really enjoy the shows. We also have support of Beaumont Society School of Dance last year at the Town and Country Days. We supported Alberta Culture Days with performers, as well as bringing in the Alberta Baroque Ensemble and the Swiss Men's Choir to St. Vital Church in the Beaumont Library. We hosted a very successful Christmas concert last year with about 330 people in attendance at no charge, bringing in professional artists and musicians. The Artists Association, we supported in a couple ways. One, by helping finance the supplies and the wage of a mural that will be placed outside the painted door, as well as their art show, and helping them purchase some display boards that had a mishap in storage. And finally, one really close to my heart, we also supported the Edinburgh Entourage by helping them acquire some sound equipment and helping them run sound equipment for their performances within the community. I would like to highlight a bit of our fundraising as well. So the T4X hoodies that you may see around were originally created for the Ember Entourage. We have now transferred that money to be going to the Beaumont Society for the Arts because we feel it is in kind the same purpose. And as of now, we have actually had 39 online auctions that has raised us over $5,000. And we would like to take a moment and thank the mayor and Councillor Stephen Van Muur for his donation, and encourage anyone else if they're interested to donate. But thank you very much for that. And yeah, so that was 2018, pretty successful. We think we felt pretty good. And moving into 2019, it's obviously the beginning of the year, so we've got a lot of things that we're hoping for. One that we've already booked is the Alberta Opera. It will be and has been offered to all the elementary schools in Beaumont, and they will be bringing Pinocchio this year. We recently had a dueling piano and improv event at the community center. It was called A Flurry of Fun, and we think there was about 200 people in attendance. It was really a huge success. We had lots of great comments even before the event started that we need more of this. My purpose was not a cost recovery at this point, because at this point we just want to bring these artists here and sort of show that there is a need and that there is an audience for this. But I would say we're still kind of finalizing the numbers, but it very easily could have been on cost recovery. And in fact, with the bar, which we actually helped by supporting the Beaumont Blues and Roots, it would have easily made us more money than we put out. So that was great. And a comment that we got from a local doctor said, I wanted to let you know that sitting there watching those talented musicians, seeing people across ages laugh and dance and be in the moment, I was reminded that this is what life is about. My job has a way of making me analyze, control, compartmentalize, and desensitize. But realizing these people are my patients and it's my job to help them feel well and continue to enjoy life in that way inspired me. We have an arts conference coming up on Saturday. I'm excited to see a few names definitely on the list of attendees. If you didn't get back to us, we'd be more than happy to have you, so feel free to email us. We will be focusing on the Beaumont Arts Council, which is a part of our policy, so we would love to have you come and discuss that with us. We have Shay Anderson, the MLA, is coming to speak to us, as well as the Associate Executive Director of the Edmonton Arts Council to tell us their story and how they got started and all of that. After, we will be hosting the BSA AGM. Please get back to us if you'd like to come. Don't feel that you can't just because you didn't register yet. Town and Country Days, we're really looking forward to sponsoring a marching band this year in the parade. Yes, it's like something that is so needed. Again, supporting BSSD and potentially having Alberta Opera perform again. We had them in 2017 do Hansel and Gretel. They didn't come last year, but we're hoping potentially next year. There's lots. Beaumont Blues and Roots, we are always in support of. We've shared an insurance policy with them, which actually covers every artist, event, and artistic endeavor in Beaumont. So we've helped by being able to kind of offset costs for other smaller groups who maybe want to use the community center, and now they can be under our umbrella, which is part of what we've been wanting. Alberta Culture Days we hope to be a part of with the Taste of Beaumont and the Town of Beaumont Promotions Committee in the library. Again, the Alberta Baroque Ensemble, the Swiss Men's Choir, and the Christmas concerts in December. There is no shortage of things we could do. It never ends. It takes 2 seconds to go even on the Edmonton Arts Council Instagram and flip through it and see a billion ideas that you're like, I wish this was in my city. So I've got pamphlets and so yeah, there's a ton of ideas. It's just a matter of finances and manpower, to be honest. As volunteers, it's tough. It's not easy, but we love it, obviously. Looking forward to the next few years and even the future of our program and policy, I want to say that I press our need for continued support financially as well as in action and in spirit. We want to create programming in a more organized fashion. And to be honest, we want to look for bigger acts and for better deals. And to do that, we need to be thinking a year ahead. And so right now, we're working on 2019. We should be working on 2020 because we should be able to depend on financial freedom in that way. That will help us pre-book and control this. It also helps with advertising and getting the word out there, whether it's View Weekly contacting us or being able to just give the town a heads up. And finally, Beaumont is now a city. A rose by any other name would still just smell as sweet. A concept many of our townspeople are struggling with to understand who we are. So help us by identifying Beaumont as a destination. You heard the Chamber's comments. Make us a place people come. A location where arts and culture define our identity as a city. Capitalize on the immense talent and the amount of artists in Beaumont. We can't thank you enough, and we ask you to continue to invest in the culture and people of Beaumont. By supporting arts and culture in Beaumont, you will be building on the spirit that already exists. Invest in your people, and Beaumont will be the richest city in Alberta. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Darley. That was very well done, and yeah, your passion is clear, and I hope you know that ours is as well, and that's I think the support has been definitely mutual. Before I turn it over and ask questions of council, I just want to ask one myself, a prerogative of the chair. How many people are actually doing all of this work? Because it's a tremendous amount of work. I mean, your volunteer, is it the same few people, or is it 100 people? Like, give me some sense of that.
We have a board of, I think it's 11. 11.
Give
and I will defer to Grant. He counts better than me. Yeah, I think there's a board of 11, and so yeah, together we do it. Lots of volunteers come to help. We have people who champion events. So the recent February event was one that I and my counterpart Tiana Tolley, we created together, so we work together. The Christmas concert is done by Corey and Delora Talbert, and the conference coming up is Delora and myself, and Grant does a lot of things. Barb Willis is our
see some in the audience,
our volunteer. Yeah, it is. It's a team effort, and we've had a good team from the beginning. We've been really lucky, 4 years strong, and people have stuck with us.
That's tremendous effort, and I don't want to see that lost, and I think that's one of the big pluses of a community of our size is that people will work together for the good of the community. So
thank you.
Maintain that.
I appreciate
members of council, anyone have a question? Councillor Hendricks.
Your Worship, thank you. Question back to the facility, the scale and scope. We had talked about the Mary Winsper Center in Sydney, BC. I wonder if you had a chance to check out the website.
I haven't. To be honest, I would love to think that the facility is within reach, but to be honest, that policy is my mountain right now. And until that policy is passed, I can't really, I don't have time to look into things that...
Yeah, we talked last August.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that you just please have a look at the website.
I have to sort of... budget my time. And the truth is that as a volunteer and as a full-time worker, this has taken a lot of my personal time, and I am passionate and I do care, and that's why. So I would love, I cannot wait till I can say we are looking at what a facility is actually going to look like. And we are actually entertaining that idea at the conference coming up. So there will be some dreaming and some research and looking into it there, but it's been a lot of meetings and stuff about the policy primarily, and that it's a learning curve. You guys know, a lot of you are new on council, and you can probably appreciate the idea of what a learning curve of writing a policy could look like. So no disrespect. I look forward to. I can't wait.
I guess what I'm saying is that if we had just sort of a sense of scale and scope. For those of us who have been around for a while, it's good to know what the target is, and then you work towards that target. Sydney is a town that is about the size of our now city population, and it's got two components of the Mary Winsper Center. It's got the CCBCC that we currently have, but it also has a theater component. And if you look at the website and you see the acts that go through there, I'll be actually there. I'll be in Sydney this weekend, and certainly would advocate for a conversation between yourself and others, right?
Yeah.
To try to get a handle on scale and scope.
Yeah.
Because that turns that into reality and money, and then we advocate as councillors for you through the budget process. And the sooner we get that idea started, the sooner we can start penciling that in. I know we're doing a spatial discussion and recreational discussion, all the rest. But it's always good to know.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be?
Yeah.
You know, in terms of scale and scopes.
Thank you. Councillor Hendricks. Councillor Stout?
Thank you, Your Worship. Wanted to, just looking at the 2019 schedule, it's very ambitious, it's very impressive, but I think it has to be ambitious in order to achieve the goals that you've set yourselves. You alluded earlier to the need to be preparing the 2020 schedule by at the start of 2019, where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
So the question really is...
Ideally, sorry.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. Ideally, it would be nice to plan for the year, yes.
I agree, and I see the necessity for that, having done some of this myself as well in previous years. Question for you then is, what would you need from council in order to make that a reality?
Well, I would say passing the policy would be really nice, because that would be a promise of a commitment. You know, a policy is a promise to me. It's not a law. It's not, you know, it's something that we can work with. And if we knew that we were guaranteed based on a policy to funding, then I think we could move forward on things and look further in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Good answer.
I think the policy is all encompassing in that, yeah.
So that's the driving goal of setting a policy and establishing a policy.
Yeah.
One of the things is that establishes that you can plan at least a year ahead out in future.
Yeah, if not forever.
Yes.
Then we can start. We can start looking at what a facility will look like until we know that we are going to be guaranteed support. You know, you took a step, yes, by giving a budget line was great, but that still isn't a promise for next year. It's not it's a precedent, which is a leg to stand on, but it's not a promise, and a policy is a promise, and that means we can move forward on all the things like a facility and programming like crazy. It's amazing what's out there that we can cash in on if we can show the province and the federal government that we have the support of the town. And what we need for that, all they need to see really is that there's a policy there that says that you support arts and culture.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yardley, and great answer to that question, because I think that's where council's work generally falls in terms of setting direction and policy and making the decisions based on where do we want to go. So I think you've answered that quite correctly. Councillor Danilak.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I want to make council aware that I did attend the February 1st Dueling Pianos evening, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great event, and Chantel began her comments in the evening congratulating and thanking council for granting arts money that helps them subsidize the various events that they do. She made a point of telling the audience that our grant money we provide to the Art Society allows them to put on the events and keep the events affordable from a ticket price perspective. And many people came up to me during the evening and said, you know, it's a great event. They thank the town, city. I can imagine myself sometimes. Citizens were very happy that we are supporting the arts financially and allow them to do the events that they're doing. Many people said they want more events. So I do know you have support of council. With the budget line, it's a first step. Council policy is a second step. But I'm very excited about your ambitious 2019 schedule of events, and I'm sure my colleagues will attend many events we possibly can. But I want to give Chantel kudos for giving council kudos publicly that we are supporting the arts in town, in the city of Beaumont, and we're continuing to do so going forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Danilak. Thank you very much. I do not see any further questions from members of council, so I thank you again for coming forward and providing us all that information.
Thank you all. Thanks. Well,
Thank you.
See you later.
I'm going to call for a short recess, if I may, partly because I need a drink of water, but I'm sure others may as well. Thank you.
2015, Beaumont Subdivision Authority gave conditional subdivision approval for 2 urban service residential lots under the file name Place Beauséjour. The applicant wanted separate ownership between Beaumont Aging in Place, Supportive Living Beaumont, and Covenant Care. With the approval, the applicant had 1 year to satisfy all of the subdivision conditions and apply for endorsement. If this timeframe was not met, the applicant had the option to reapply for an entirely new subdivision application or request that council extend the subdivision approval period. On December 13th, 2016 and January 9th of 2018, council gave the subdivision approval extension requests, each having 1 year expiry. Pursuant to section 6576 of the Municipal Government Act, council may extend the subdivision approval period for plan endorsement whether or not the time period has expired or not. The applicant is requesting a third subdivision approval extension for 1 year to expire December 17th, 2019. This will allow the applicant more time to finalize details prior to submitting the endorsement application and allowing separate ownership between both parties. The subdivision approval extension request was circulated internally to Integrated Growth and Infrastructure Division, and we received no concerns. Administration is supportive of this request to allow a 1 year extension. However, the applicant has been advised that administration would not recommend approval to any further extension request. Administration recommends that council approve a 1 year extension to the subdivision approval of SDA 1506 Place Beauséjour to expire December 17th of 2019. This concludes my presentation. If council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you very much for your information, Ms. Gwasny. And I'd like to ask if there's a member of council who's willing to put the motion on the floor. Councillor Van Newkirk, is that you?
Thank you. Yeah, I would put the motion for response number 1 on the floor, that council approve 1 year extension to the subdivision approval for SDA 15-06 Place Beauséjour to expire on December 17th, 2019. Thank you.
Do you wish to speak to it?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of members of council on this item? Councillor Danluck.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Ms. Kwasny, I went through the documentation, and I see absolutely no reason why we wouldn't do this. Is there anything to the town's detriment to not proceed with this? Anything that would be harmful to the town? I can't think of anything, but just so we're clear on the record that there's no harm to the town or economic problem for the town, I don't know why we wouldn't approve this.
Through you to Councillor Danluck, no, administration does not see any issues with recommending this approval of 1 more additional year. That's standard. Yeah.
Not seeing any further questions, I will call the vote. And the motion on the floor is that council approve a 1 year extension to expire on December 17th. All in favor, please vote. And that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay. You're here for another item, obviously. You didn't move. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Got it. The next item is item 8B, Development Permit 2018-643, 50569 Range Road 244, Secondary Suite and Accessory Building. Ms. Kwasny, again, please make a presentation.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor and members of council and the public. On December 6th of 2018, administration received a development permit application to allow the continued use and operation of a secondary suite within an accessory building. The subject property is located in the northwest annexation lands at the corner of Range Road 244 and Township Road 510. The site is currently districted Direct Control DC 004. A secondary suite within an accessory building was previously approved by Leduc County June 23rd of 2014. Within the Direct Control District DC 004, a secondary suite within an accessory building is a permitted use subject to the maximum floor area not exceed 78 square meters. In this application, the applicant is requesting to increase the total secondary suite floor area to 132 square meters, which is why the applicant needs a variance. The land use bylaw provides that the development officer shall act as the development authority to make decisions for any direct control unless a variance is required. If a variance is required, then it is to be referred to council. Council decisions are not appealable to the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board. Since a variance is being requested in a direct control district, the City of Beaumont's development officer does not have jurisdiction to make the decision on the permit to grant the variance. Therefore, the permit is being submitted in accordance to Council Policy Number 6 that states Council shall receive the permit request and direct that a public hearing be held. Administration requests that Council receive the development permit in accordance with the procedural bylaw, schedule a public hearing on March 12th of 2019 at 7 p.m. in the Council chambers to hear anyone wishing to speak on the matter. This concludes my presentation. If Council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you. And if I may just to clarify, this motion that's before us, that your recommendation is that we conduct a public hearing. So at this point, it would be clarification perhaps on the process, not necessarily the merits of the particular application. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any member of council wishing to ask any questions? Councillor Van Newkirk.
I have a very basic question.
Would you like to put the motion on the floor?
Sure.
Yeah.
I would do that too.
I meant to say
motion,
that first.
Yeah, motion number 1, the council receive the development permit and in accordance with the procedure bylaw, schedule a public hearing on March 12, 2019 at 7 p.m. in council chambers to hear anyone wishing to speak on the matter.
Thank you. Now, go ahead.
Basic question. Development permit, if we fast forward to, a permit being granted, if it ends up that way, that means that along the way, the inspections would happen the same way that a house construction would happen. Is that correct? Are they building out inside of this building, and or are they doing an addition, or is it an improvement, or what is it?
Yeah, through you to Councillor Van Newkirk. So the typical standard process for a development permit is that, yes, once it is approved, it does move on to building for inspections. However, in this circumstance, this is an existing secondary suite and an existing garage. I do have a note here that in August 28th of 2009, there was an inspection done by Leduc County, a building inspection, and they passed it. It was a final inspection. So,
thank you. I just wasn't clear on what state this was at. Looking at the drawings and whatnot, I couldn't tell if it was proposed or done or what. So
it's an existing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions from any members of council? Hearing none, not seeing any, would you please vote? And that is passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you. Moving on to item number 9, we have one bylaw before us this evening, and that's bylaw 946-19. And Ms. Winter is going to walk us through this from where she sits. Please take it away. As soon as I give you the right to speak, there you go.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor, through you to members of council and the public. At the October 23rd, 2018 regular council meeting, council gave first and second reading to bylaw 933-19, Municipal Library Board and Council. And council directed administration to work with the library board on the proposed bylaw and bring third reading to a future council meeting. Administration has completed research on reviewing other regional municipalities and their library boards' structure and composition. Administration concluded to suggest further changes to the previous bylaw presented on October 23rd, 2018, and is presenting a new bylaw. Administration has worked with the Beaumont Library Board Chair, and administration at this time is introducing bylaw 946-19. There is a typo in the agenda, my apologies. Municipal Library Board bylaw with the following proposed changes. Changes to 4.1, the board shall be appointed by council pursuant to the Libraries Act as follows: 1 member of council and 1 alternate member of council, and 7 members from the public. 4.4 quorum, a quorum at any board meeting shall be 50% or greater of all members that comprise the board. Administration is presenting all 3 readings tonight to bring the library board bylaw into conformance and to allow for advertising for the new public member position to recruitment position to occur as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Winter. So is there a member of council wishing to move first reading? Councillor Stout.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I'd like to move first reading.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from council? Hearing none, we can move on then to ask for a motion to approve second reading. I'm sorry, I have to look at Ms. Winter for this one now. We have to vote on it, don't we? Okay. You're looking at me like, I did miss something there, didn't I? Voting. All right. Let's vote on first reading then. All in favor? And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. So then a motion for moving for second reading. Is a member of council? Councillor Van Newkirk?
So moved.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll vote this time. Okay. All in favor? Second reading? That's passed unanimously. Thank you. And would there be a member of council asking for a motion to be moved for unanimous consent to move to third reading? So we do need this to be unanimous for it to pass. Anyone willing to pass that motion, to present that motion? Councillor Daniluk, I know you're there. There you go.
So moved, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No, any conversation? No. Hearing none, could I ask for a vote, please, on third reading? And that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And now I do need, that was actually for the unanimous vote. Now I do need the move for the third reading. Sorry, this is a little bit awkward. Is there a member of council who will move third reading? You have to do this 4 times, even though it's 3 readings. You haven't done yours yet, so. Yeah, you have to press your mic. Councillor Monteswing.
So moved.
Thank you. And then we will vote. All in favor? Third reading passes unanimously. Thank you. I do get that one mixed up, and so it's unanimous consent is an extra motion that we have to pass. All right. So there's no more voting at this point. Thankfully, I don't have to play with that machine anymore. And we'll go now to the CAO update, item 11. Mr. Schwartz, did I miss something else? Oh, in addition to the ones that were there. I'm sorry, I jumped over that. Item 10, are there any other council inquiries or statements, reports? No? Not seeing any? And item 11. Oh, yeah, there you go, Mike. I thought it was a councillor putting their name up there.
Oh, thank you very much, Madam Deputy Mayor. 2 quick items. This morning had the pleasure of attending an announcement at Edmonton Global where a Member of Parliament, Randy Boissonnault, on behalf of the Western Economic Diversification Canada, made a $2.3 million investment in Edmonton Global. As you know, we are a shareholder in Edmonton Global. Part of the speeches that Edmonton Global talked about is that their target for bringing investment into our metropolitan area is $3 to $4 billion over the next several years. So it's pretty aggressive. This is a very good kick at that cat with some federal money. Also, and I sent this note out on Friday, as you know, our MDP has received recommendation through the REF process, recommendation for approval. It's currently in the 28-day appeal period. So we've circled March 8th at 1630 hours, not to be exact. That's how people have the opportunity to appeal. Discussions I've had with colleagues in the region, I don't anticipate that's going to occur. And I think, as I said in my note, that's been a tribute to the work the council has done with their regional colleagues. Later, just before this meeting, we sent out a list of key messages for each of council. So if you have the opportunity to have a conversation with any of your colleagues in the region and want to talk about our MDP, there's some bullets to help you out. Exciting times, and that'll help us with our Northlands, and something a lot of people have been very patient about, and some really good work has gone into. Thank you.
That's good news. Thank you very much for sharing that, Mr. Schwartz. Are there any questions for our CAO, members of council? No? Seeing none. Thank you very much. There is no correspondence to report on at this time. Are there any notices of motion? Not seeing any. We don't have any items for closed session, so therefore I call the meeting adjourned at 7:08. I don't know. I have to look that one up. 8:34.